It was a crisp Monday morning when I first noticed my neighbor, Clara, stepping out onto her balcony with a yoga mat tucked under her arm. She unrolled it carefully, placed a water bottle nearby, and stood barefoot, staring at the sunrise. I was sipping my coffee by the window, curious but not wanting to intrude. That's when I saw her begin what I now know were her 10-minute morning stretches for weight loss. Clara started with a deep breath, her hands reaching toward the sky as if she were trying to touch the clouds. She held the stretch for a few seconds, then slowly bent forward, her fingertips grazing her toes. I remember thinking how graceful she looked, even in her mismatched pajamas. She repeated this a few times, her movements fluid and deliberate. It wasn't just stretching, it was like she was greeting the day with her body. Next, Clara bent forward, her fingertips reaching toward her toes. Her back was slightly rounded, and her movements were fluid. She held the pose for a moment, then gently rose back up. It was a stretch that seemed to melt away tension, leaving her feeling lighter and more at ease. Clara stepped one foot back into a lunge, her arms stretching overhead. Her face was calm, but you could see the strength in her legs as she held the pose. She switched sides gracefully, her movements deliberate and controlled. It was a stretch that grounded her, filling her with energy for the day ahead. With a fluid motion, Clara switched sides, her arms still reaching toward the sky. Her expression was focused but relaxed, as if she were in perfect harmony with her body. The stretch seemed to flow through her, leaving her feeling centered and energized. Clara sat down on her mat, her legs spread wide in a V shape. She reached for one foot, then the other, and finally leaned forward between them. Her face showed determination, but also satisfaction. It was a stretch that reminded her progress comes in small steps, 1 inch at a time. Clara finished with a gentle twist, sitting cross-legged on her mat. She placed one hand on her knee and the other behind her for support, twisting her torso and looking over her shoulder. It was a stretch that seemed to wring out the stress from her body, leaving her feeling lighter and more at peace. When she was done, Clara sat quietly for a moment, her eyes closed and her hands resting on her knees. The morning sun bathed the balcony in golden light, and a gentle breeze rustled the leaves nearby. It was a moment of pure calm, a reminder of the joy that comes from simply showing up for yourself. Over the weeks, Clara's confidence grew. Her posture was straighter, her smile brighter, and she even started wearing cheerful colors. Her 10-minute morning stretches had become more than a routine. They were a ritual that made her feel strong, focused, and ready to take on the day. Small steps, big changes.